All right, we are live. Thank you for joining us on another edition of Chronic Conversations. Today we have a very special guest, sort of a last minute addition. I appreciate him hitting us up. His name is Scene Nick, and let me just tell you before we get started, I've been calling you Scenic Nick for some reason. When I talk about you to my wife and co-host Jen, say hello.
What's up?
Hey, Jen.
So if I call you Scenic Nick at some time during this conversation, I apologize in advance. And I don't know if I was thinking, because you're the man around town like Chattanooga, because in my brain, I just thought that's a great gimmick, Scenic Nick. And then she goes, why do you call him Scenic Nick? I was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, oh, Scene Nick. Okay. So this is Scene Nick. He is a professional wrestling manager and obviously a lot more. I'm going to let you tell him about that. So tell him about who you are and what all you do in professional wrestling.
Oh, definitely. Scene Nick, been in business over, actually 6 years now. Actually, I am trained to wrestle, but I don't want to. This is not my thing.
Right.
Honestly, just a Swiss Army knife. If you need commentary, I'm your guy, whether it's play-by-play or color. If you have a talent, you want a manager, I can do that. And plus more with that talent, help them get other places and all these things, negotiate fee, all that kind of stuff. I can do behind the scenes. I can help agent matches. I can.
So if maybe somebody's brand new starting in the business, would you be somebody they might want to contact to see at least maybe get some advice as to what they need to do to get to other shows? Because everybody's got that one home show and, they hit that point and they're ready to branch out. And a lot of them don't know how. And there's a lot of bad teachers that don't show their people how to get onto other shows.
Yeah, that's the problem. But yeah, I'm always willing. It's just some wrestlers had a misconception that because I'm a manager, I'm a commentator, I don't know anything else, or I'm not one of them. I'm like, we go to the same.
You mean like Jim Ross?
Right. Something like, yeah, I'm not one of them.
Former head of talent relations, former booker.
Somehow the elevator doesn't go to the top to them. They don't think like that.
Some people, the Eagles of some wrestlers, it's like some of the guys in your back with, and you're thinking, they're doing this diva thing, and it's like we're in the same dressing room, brother.
Exactly.
We're on the same show.
Yep. Same training school.
Match. Yep. Same school. Know a lot of the same people running the same circles. There's no reason to. And every component of pro wrestling is so important, even the ones that people don't understand how important they are, like managers, referees, people calling the match. Like those are very specific duties that help the overall story and arc and stuff. So I feel like somebody's either got to be really green or a little bit too much air up there. Maybe I don't want to be mean without being mean. That if they think like that, does that sound like that's on the right track for you?
Yeah. Some of them, they got their head up, certain places.
Right.
But it is what it is. To the ones that do just utilize me, take advantage, and it's not to sound arrogant, but my thing is, if I'm there, I'm available, use me. I can help you. I don't mind helping. I love helping people. People who are willing and want to work hard too, not just, arrogant people. I don't really want to deal with that. But if you want to go far, do something, and I see that, I want to help you all I can. So utilize me.
I tell those guys all the time, any name I've ever worked with are some of the most humble, helpful. You'll see those guys setting up chairs, setting up rings, giving advice, taking pictures with the boys, giving them advice before and after, just all kinds of things like that. And they actually were on a different level, but have that much respect and humbleness. Like you need to humble yourself. I get it. You need to have confidence in yourself. You need to be a little cocky to present yourself, but you don't have to be arrogant as well.
Exactly. It's like sometimes you gotta turn that volume down a little bit and just say, okay, that's the gimmick part of me, but this isn't really me. I'm real me is, I'm a church person, whatever. Just represent that when you're approaching people. And then you can get them a little piece of your gimmick, whatever, if it calls for that, they ask you, but know when to separate, turn it on, turn it off,
Yes. Yeah. That's a lot of problems with it. And I get it because pro wrestling within itself is a form of method acting.
Oh yeah.
So sometimes, and you're already using a part of yourself, so it can be hard sometimes to separate that, but you still got to be able to do it. You still got to be able to disassociate from that. Like you said, you got to turn the volume back down. You turn your own volume way up for the character, but I don't need that character when we're discussing or going over our match or when you're talking to them about booking them somewhere else.
Right.
Like, they don't, They don't have to be in gimmick. It's like, talk to me. We're just
Right.
two human beings trying to
Just have a conversation. It's the same as if, if you're reaching out to another promoter and you're like, hey, I would love to work for your show, you don't say, well, I'm the only product sponsor, man, Professor Wrestling, the Black Diamond, and you should book me on your show because, quite frankly, I'm the best. If you do that, you're automatically going to be left on red. You're going to be blocked. Your name is going to be smeared everywhere.
Promoters are workers too. They don't. A lot of workers don't realize that. Promoters, they've been around workers and been worked, and
yeah,
it's like once you've raised kids and you have grandkids, you kind of learn by then. So that next generation coming up, it's like, come on, guys, let's just.
So,
what's the biggest piece of advice? What's the biggest thing you think that detracts from these guys getting shows? Besides, talent. Say they're talented, things like that. What else is precluding them from being able to get to those shows?
Honestly, being unteachable, so to speak, where if you have some corrections about their match, they'll just shrug you off, act like you don't know what you're talking about, and go about their day and do the same match everywhere. Never try to learn the crowd because every style doesn't work in every crowd, every market.
Right. No,
I can't do the same thing I do in Georgia per se in New Jersey. It's not going to work. I got to change it up. And a lot of these guys, they don't get that. They're stuck in their way, and it's a turnoff. No one wants to deal with them after that. If you present yourself as someone who doesn't listen, doesn't want to teach, isn't teachable, then you sunk yourself. And it takes a while to recover from that. And I always tell
5 years in, I was still having people come and watch my matches and tell me what they liked and what they didn't like. Now, I may agree, I may disagree, but I'm going to process that for a couple of days and then decide what I can take in and use as information. The rest you just get rid of. You don't have to be mad about it or get defensive or.
Exactly. And some people are going to present it to you and maybe in a nasty way. They might mean well, but it's a nasty way. You got to kind of separate. When I try to tell someone something, I try to do it like in a nice way. Like, this is American Idol back in the day. I guess I'd be more Paula Abdul, the dash of Simon. But I'm not trying to destroy their soul. I want them to continue, but just, learn from this and move forward. Don't stay in this moment. It's something better along the way. Just kind of do the X, Y, and Z differently. But some take that well, some
don't. Some like having people blow smoke up their ass. But the ones I think that are going to make it to that next tier and that next level are the ones that don't.
Yeah.
Tell me how it is. No matter what level you're on, you're teachable. And whether you're a referee, a manager, you work selling hot dogs, but you watch all the matches.
Yeah.
From a fan's perspective, people don't give fans enough credit in being able to talk about wrestling because you haven't been in the business. It's like, I get that, but they've been fans for, all their lives. They grew up watching it. They, nowadays on the internet, you can research and get enough knowledge to halfway know what you're talking about. So even with them, you don't have to get angry or get that attitude. It's like, just what you can't use, don't use, but
it's not working. It's not working. And some guys will do that. They'll stick with the same gimmick or
don't evolve.
Right. They never evolve. They're just stuck. I look at it like in music, every major artist, they've changed over time. Metallica's changed over time. We don't always like it sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
I'm looking at Saint Anger album right now. It doesn't work all the time.
Everybody knows, right? Yeah.
But they evolve, they change, Madonna, Michael Jackson, all of them. But you got to kind of think like that. Okay, what can I do?
They're still around too, right?
Yeah. There's something's working.
Yeah.
So
follow the logic.
Yeah. It's like you can be the next, you can make evolutions change, or you can just stay stuck in one zone and, you're forgotten the next day.
And even if you're doing something that's really working, a lot of times, especially if you're in the same kind of area and things like that, sometimes your act can wear thin and you just need to evolve or tweak some things just to, add a little extra flavor. So I know you got a lot of stuff coming up. So let's start talking about that. What's the first event you want to talk about? What do you have coming up?
Ooh, first event's going to be a good one. It's this Saturday, June 12th, Miami, Florida. My first time in Miami.
Oh, wow. Congrats.
Bringing in Hot Boy Summer officially. That's me. I want to be the special guest host for the return of Sweetwater Pro Wrestling. Great company. It's be my debut there. main event is going to be an instant classic. It will never happen again. And that's not one of these whole wrestling gimmick things. It literally will not happen again. It's going to be the professional, the walking, living, breathing legend himself, Low Ki, versus his former student, Ricky Martinez, formerly known as Max Stardom. This is a guy who's been on AEW Dark, some other promotions.
Yeah.
Two of the best.
So this is going to be hard hitting, to say the least.
Oh, yeah. There's going to be some kicks, some strikes, everything, you name it. This is going to be like UFC style main event.
Let me just tell you, for people who don't know who they are or have never heard of them, it's not going to be hard to suspend your disbelief during this match.
Right. Like that. Right. It's not going to be so, oh, that was fake. Yeah, nope.
If you see a knockout, there's a good chance somebody was actually knocked out. I've seen it before in low-key matches.
Oh, yeah, legit.
Legit. It happens. You know, they go hard, you know.
Right. And
I'm safe. That's people. I think a lot of younger boys get that mixed up. There's a difference between going hard and still being safe and being dangerous.
Absolutely. A lot just don't get that thin line. You can make it look good, but just don't kill anybody.
Right. You can hurt me, just don't injure me. I still gotta go work on Monday.
Exactly. I always tell guys, if I'm doing a spot where I'm getting like knocked down or something, I said, look, all right, I'm willing, do what you gotta do, but don't kill me. I had to work on Monday.
Right.
I'm a counselor. I don't want to be beat up.
Old schooler, people may or may not know this name, Ricky Morton. One of his jokes. Yes. In the time when you're in the ring with him, he'd say, how's your shoot punches, kids? Which are real punches. And you'd go, hard, or no, it's the other way. Sorry, I fucked it up. So how's your working punches? Yeah. And you go, guys, like, because you're, or shoot punch because your working punches are fucking killing me. And I used to love that.
I love Ricky.
Yeah. Now, some of them old school guys, you lock up and they're like, you're too stiff. And I'm like, all we did was lock up, bro. But they were magicians. They were, I wish that was a talent a lot of the guys don't understand as much today. Anybody can just kick somebody really hard. But to make it look like you kicked them really hard and have it sold properly and nobody gets hurt, injured, it brings down the risk. If you can do that, that's a whole different magic that doesn't exist as much today.
Absolutely. And I think it kind of starts in the training schools and just the individuals, period. Like a lot of guys, all they'll do is talk to you about Shawn Michaels this, Shawn Michaels that. You don't hear anything about things like Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express,
right?
Even Flair. You don't hear about those things and those people, and this is sad. And you have access to the network, you have YouTube, for crying out loud. Why aren't you watching this stuff?
Yes, and old is new. Like you might pick up some things that I remember when arm drag started to come back in. Because when I grew up, that was how that was the first high spot in the match was either a toss or an arm drag. It was not coming off ropes, or you didn't leave your feet till for a little while in. You worked up to that point, and to see them come back, but people would they're like they'd never seen one before. So you can find a lot of jewels. Go back to that 50s. Go watch Lou Thesz, Antonio Rocco, the guy the drop kick. Go watch. Carl Gotch. Go watch Billy Robinson.
Oh yeah.
People
just don't get that, and they have the access. It's like it's so weird. You have more access than ever now, but less people watching.
Yeah.
And
we had to trade tapes.
Exactly. You could talk. People always talk to me about. Well, before tribal Roman Reigns, they talked about Roman Reigns or this and that, or even in the back, I hear people say, "I'm gonna hit you with the Seth Rollins line." Where you gonna transport him here and hit me with him? What's that mean?
Yeah.
So I just don't get that. It's like that's just not how I was trained or learned.
It was tough. Like every move has a different name now.
Right.
Because I took a long absence and then came back for a while, and literally I didn't know what anybody was talking about. Like, do the one thing that the one dude does, and I'm like, what are you even talking about? So I can tell you what, I'm the heel. We're gonna lock up. I'm gonna make you look like $1 million fucking bucks. I'm gonna put you over.
Right.
We're gonna go home, okay, kid? Like, relax.
Right.
You're gonna get the job's gonna get done that's supposed to be done. I know what I'm doing.
Exactly. So just let me guide you through it. It's just insane to me. And then you have some guys who just literally, it's almost like you're watching like circa 1999 Britney Spears choreography with some of these matches. I'm like, dang, is this the part where you start saying, "Oops, I did it again"? I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah. And you got to be careful because there was a lot of things I wasn't taught right in the beginning. I had to learn later, and I had to relearn, and it's a lot harder to relearn than it is to learn the right way the first time. So make sure wherever you're going to train, you get somebody that really cares about your training to bring the best out of you, because if not, you're going to end up like with me. Like I still had some really bad habits, to this day that somebody that really watches or could pick out, or especially the old school guys could pick out, that bother me at least. So definitely, when you're starting out, that's very important as well. Make sure you get a reputable school and things like that, because even today, there's still a lot of workers out there just trying to get your money, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think something going on with your mic a little bit. Or it might be my mic. I don't know.
Is there a little bit of a delay?
Yeah, sounds a little distorted.
Yeah, it sounds good on this side. Hopefully hopefully it's coming through on the YouTube live. Good.
Yeah. But it's just,
we'll have the co-host go check it out. We are you got it good. Okay, good. Oh, yeah, I really like this program because even when there are problems, there's a better continuity than some of the Zoom and stuff that just drops it.
Oh yeah.
Like this won't drop it. You may have a little buffering or a little
so much better.
Yeah.
But is this so odd with certain wrestlers, and just to anyone watching this, please study the past so you can prepare yourself for the present and the future.
Right.
It matters. I don't care how old it is. It can still work and translate today. In 2021, like sometimes I can pull something from Paul Orndorff, and that's something that could be fresh for every town I work now.
Mm-hmm.
Modified, of course, to make it my own, not just rip it off. No. That's another big difference, and that's key.
Well, it's like when you become a character, like everybody is a culmination of multiple people. You just don't want to take one person and try to recreate that one person.
Exactly.
Like I had pieces of Taz and local guy Rawhead Rex. I used a lot of him and Kurt Angle. I mean, there was Chris Benoit. There was just I took little snippets who just felt right in who I was.
Absolutely. And I tell guys that too, because you can make that cross that thin line of becoming a cosplayer.
Yeah.
If you don't modify, because I've seen some that do, they even have the hair like Shawn Michaels and everything. I'm like, why are you doing this?
Yeah. Don't copy mannerisms.
Right.
Take some moves, take some attitude, take some psychology. Those are the type of things you want to learn from and take, but don't copy.
Exactly. It's just,
that's just one match on that card.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are some of the other matches? That alone to me, and I'm not just talking marketing shit either. Like that to me, as a fan and as a pro wrestler, is worth the price of admission, whatever it costs.
Oh, definitely. Tickets on Eventbrite.com right now. Purchase those tickets. Do not miss this event. Also, you got SPW Championship on the line. Ernest Alexander defends against D. Ramos. That's going to be another hard-hitting match that I think, because the main event announcement, the two competitors that match might be a little upset because, hey, what's our attention at?
Right.
And they're gonna say for that.
and I have a good feeling they probably will. That's the good thing about having that kind of card together. That's
when I say like stacked upon stacked upon stacked, that's what this card is. You have Mighty Maya coming all the way out of California to face individual sites of Conan's promotion of Mexico, Black Widow. Mm-hmm. That's going to be an amazing match. We have a lot of representation in this card. 3 women's matches. I've gotten to the point I don't like to say women's wrestling because it's all wrestling. They're all athletes. Mm-hmm. They're in the same training as us. It's just,
right.
Put it all together. And, these women here, they've all worked their ass off. They
probably had to work twice as hard as some guys in the back to get to the same place they are. Yeah, there's definitely it's still an old boys club, and whether you're thinking on different sexes, male female level, or just who kind of thing, it's still an old boys club. So if you see a woman who's made it to a level like you're talking about for a match, you're talking about getting in, that she really deserves to be there.
Absolutely. And they worked hard. This is going to be a phenomenal match. You got Lexi Gomez, Sophia Castillo. The list goes on and on. Some of the greatest athletes coming together for this show. It's going to be incredible. And I just want everyone to be there. I'm going to be the guest host, and, I'm going to have a live mic, and you just never know what I'm going to say. So, as we found out last night at SVW.
Yeah. So sometimes you get to go back to those shows. Sometimes you don't.
Right.
My wife giggled because she's we may have been banned from a show or two. Things happen in wrestling, and
Hey,
Right.
like I always tell people, it's a big country, other places.
Yeah, it is. It's, you got to be about you a little bit first. I'll tell you not to be selfish, be humble, things like that. But you got to remember too that this is ultimately about your career and where you want to take it. So you got to
Oh yeah.
put in the work.
And kind of that leads me to like something else I want to bring up. Some people take some of my posts a little too seriously, where they're got that magnifying glass in, they're trying to find any dirt or saying, "Oh, Nick's upset." No, I'm not upset. I'm just trying to teach people based on things I've learned.
Right.
This can be a very, very crappy industry, and for what lessons I've learned dealing with different people, I just speak on what I'm gonna put up with, what I'm not gonna put up with, and it's important to have some positive energy going, because if you have nothing but negativity, all right, you had to look at your surroundings and think for yourself. Right. Do I belong here? Is it time to move on? Right. Because if you don't move on, the toxic stuff's going to poison you, and it's not going to work out for you. You're going to want to quit. And I don't want anyone to do that. So
because all places aren't like that. So if that's the first place you end up, know that all places are not like that.
Exactly.
Just like jobs, you find the one that fits you, and that it's best both ways. It's best for them. They're making their money for putting asses in the seats, and you're making connections, and once you get there, a little bit of money and things on up until there. It's just a gradual process. You got to be patient.
Oh, right? Yeah, absolutely. It takes that patience, that perseverance, and keep constantly. You have to believe in yourself. Sometimes you're going to be your own support in this business. You're going to feel like you have no one, but you have yourself. You know what you're doing, and just keep yourself humble and do the right things. Never try to change your way to say, okay, this will get me on the show if I join in on dogpiling somebody, all this.
Right.
Don't do that kind of stuff. No. Stay out of it. You know right from wrong. Choose right. And not to preach
doing that at some point in time, you won't have to. My last 15 years, I never asked or called for a booking. I never had to. Even when I was taking time off, they would flood in. So if you're good dude and you make a good impression on enough people, they're going to tell other people, and they're going to say, "Hey man, you know anybody can work this show?" And you or somebody else out there, like a lot of people did for me, are going to go, "Yeah, there's this one guy. He's really great. He's a really solid worker. He's humble. He listens. He works hard." And it's a whole different ball game from there.
Oh, absolutely. And you get to that level, you get that point just by, doing the right things. And even morally, I know they never will. They don't go over that in training, but have a good moral character. It's just, it does what your grandmother always say was, just, do right. It matters.
Yeah, it does.
It gets you far in life. It may seem like a slow climb, but it's a climb nonetheless. These fast risers who kissed the ass and did all kind of dirty deeds to get to the top, they go right down quick.
Yeah, because they get figured out pretty quick. You can only figure who you are for so long.
Oh yeah, the reveal, the mask is going to come off, and everyone's going to see who you really are. And I tell people this: at the end of the day, people can say whatever about me, and mostly it's because I either stopped dealing with people or I unfriended them on Facebook. Go figure.
Which is something I see. You don't necessarily apologize for it, but you kind of do. Setting boundaries. You're human, brother. You're allowed to set boundaries, and that's one of the things I've learned as getting older. The people that don't appreciate your boundaries are the people that you're actually setting them for. So you don't have to worry about their opinion about them, and they're going to get mad because you don't serve them in the way they needed you to now. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So don't catch your pearl before swine, man.
Yep. My grandma always told me that. And that's why I say, what you're going to put up with. I don't want to catch those pearls. I need to keep them because I need them to pay my student loans too. Right. So
you teach people how to treat you, right? Yeah. So if you accept certain behaviors, you can't really get mad or
Exactly. Like it's the same if, you can have a heart of forgiveness. At the same time, if a person is still being a snake, and if you allow them back into your arms, you ask to get bit.
There's a lot of people I love unconditionally from afar.
Yep.
Again, it's I forget. Maybe it was Tupac that said it. I've seen it on a meme. I'm sure it's been on Facebook a million times. That it's not that I don't want to see you eat. It's just not at my table.
Yep.
And that's the realest saying I've ever heard in my life, because I still want you to eat. I still have love for you. I still want you to succeed. I still want you to have happiness and joy. It's just that whatever reason our relationship is toxic or it, it feels that way to me. So I've got to set that boundary, and it is what it is at that point, right? You're always the bad guy in somebody's story. You just got to be ready to accept that in life.
Oh yeah, it's always someone's going to have a different narrative, or they're going to create this or that. Being drama queens or whatever. It's all good.
Plus, no matter how much you stay the same, as you go up in tiers and level, you're going to stay the same, but the people around you will start to change. Just like you've already started to notice, and they'll be accusing you of it and gaslighting you and trying to set you off. And things, when what it is they're just jealous of the success you've had. When if they were a good friend, they would be nothing but super happy and excited for you.
Absolutely.
And the boys, they made it. Hell yeah.
Be happy about it. Like when I see people getting signed, I'm like, thank God, finally they got the chance. I'm not sitting here, that should have been me.
Right. How dare them? Yeah, it's like you need to change your way of thinking. I probably a lot of it's a mixture of just immaturity and like I said, not having the proper trainers. You get a trainer with a shitty attitude, and that's the person that you look up to and brings you into the business, then you're going to have that same shitty attitude because you just didn't know any different. So listen to guys like like me. If you see me around some of them older guys, even if at first it's abrasive, it might be some truth in it that you're trying to rebel, that your ego's trying to rebel. Always take that as a sign of something you really need to focus on and see if it's truth. And maybe it's not, or maybe it's not your truth, whatever, that's fine. But at least give the thought an option to roll around in your head and stuff, right?
Oh, absolutely. And like, I even had a vet just tell me once, he said, this a few years ago, he said, Nick, I love you, but you're too nice. Stop being so nice. I think
that's what he means is don't put up with shit, though.
Yes.
Because you don't have to stop being nice, because that's just who you are. You can't change that. You're a nice guy. I can tell from your vibe, even not being with you, we're across the way, but I can tell you're a nice guy, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just the problem is with empathetic, nice guys, a lot of times they'll let people push further than other people will. So that's definitely what he's telling you, is just, you're doing good. You're setting your boundaries, man. I'm proud of you. Just stick to them. And like you said, you know that your attitude and your behavior and who you are is going to pay off in the end.
Oh, definitely. And that's why I always tell people, I did a post about this like a while back. I said, no matter what people try to say, whatever, narrative they want to spin,
right?
I can go home and in the night every day, do a show, whatever. I can still look myself in the mirror and say, you know what? I had integrity. I did my thing. I was good, and call it a day. I sleep well. So,
and sometimes other people think they write your story. They don't understand that that's your story to write.
Yeah,
so they're writing your story, and you don't follow the scene that they wanted. Scene Nick, see what I did there, baby? Yeah, with Scenic Nick here. Scenic Nick has seen it, but you see where I'm going with it, right? Yeah,
absolutely. And this is kind of that way of life I have, and it helps me with keeping my thick skin, because if not, I would have quit a long time ago.
Yeah, it's a rough business for. And even if you do have a thick skin, it can wear on you at times. Take time for you. Make sure you're very important. I know we're not technically in Mental Health Month, but I hate the way they break up things in the month, whether it's Pride or Black History or mental health. These are things that needs to be talked about all year long, not just for 1 month of the year. So make sure that you're checking on your own mental health and taking care of it, and checking in on your friends closest to you and making sure theirs is okay too. And don't always take them at their word. If you know them, you know them.
Yep.
It's not like you got to make them talk, but just make sure they know that you're there to be there with them, because they don't necessarily, I know probably in your case and in my case, I never necessarily needed somebody to fix it for me. I just need you to be there to kind of hang out, while I fix it.
Exactly. And it's one of those things too, where you mentioned mental health. My shoot job, I'm a mental health counselor.
Oh, wow.
And even doing that, still human first, and
right, of course, still have emotions. Yeah,
especially in this business.
So,
it's good when I get somebody who out of the blue will just message me, say, hey, I'm checking in on you, anything going on, and I can just vent to them. That's powerful. And no one's asking anyone to be their savior, like you said.
Right,
Just
right, right.
just listen to me, something like
And
that.
sometimes there's a lot of debate, like I do it. I think it's a case by case. Some people are like, don't bring up your own stories, blah blah blah. They don't need to hear that. Some people are like, yeah, because it can give something. Know the person you're talking to. If you really know the person you're talking to, you can tell if they need to vent, shut up and listen.
Yep.
Or maybe they're in the mood to listen and they want to hear something comforting. Just try to know that person, do the best you can, and they're going to appreciate it regardless because you made effort, you gave them time, right?
Oh yeah, because like honestly, like if I didn't have that opportunity to vent, sometimes it's just
right.
Who knows what happened. I had a series of misfortunes last May where I almost took my own life. It got that bad within the industry. I had an individual who honestly, well, him and his fan base wanted a mass transit accident to happen to me. He said his problem with me is that I'm breathing, and it all started kind of hitting hard. Each time this person would attack on any post whatsoever. And I tried to make peace with him like a while back, and he replied, not interested. I'm like, all right, and you're pushing 50. This is how you are. Okay.
That's his problem, though. That tells you it's his problem, because even though it's not really your fault or something you did, you're still trying to make amends and at least extend an olive branch. Yeah, that's super unprofessional. I don't like people getting shot on the ring. I don't like real things happening. Yeah. Nobody deserves, because you're giving up your body. That's exactly. I'm giving you a gift. I'm making myself vulnerable to you, and people. You're just a bully. If you take advantage of that situation, you're a bully. You don't need to be in the business, and you're a piece of shit. If you don't like that, hit me up, Jerry Anderson, Jerry Leonard, on Facebook, on Instagram. Look for Chronic Conversations. You're a piece of shit, and you don't need to be in the business. You're what's wrong with the business.
And that's just the thing too. And his person also was, liking different posts or comments that people would make about, me dying, or
he was liking people
myself.
He was liking people hating on you.
Yeah. And all that kind of stuff. I'm like, what does this really do for a person? What is this? What's wrong with you so much that you have to engage in this? And you're in the wrestling industry. Like for me, I have people I do not like in wrestling, but I don't wish any harm, especially no death on them.
No, right.
Why would you do that? That's sick.
Like, that's serious and sick. Yeah. Not you're just, you brought to a level it doesn't be brought to. Like,
right.
Learn to communicate as an adult. Talk to me about what your problem is and see if we can work it out, or we can just agree to disagree and still be professional.
Exactly.
People forget the professional part of professional wrestling.
Right.
It's in how you dress, your attitude, how you speak to people, how you relate. Like,
for some, it only is when it works best for them.
Yeah.
That's the unfortunate, but thank God I'm still here. Doing my thing. I'm still booked.
Yeah,
people.
I'm happy, man. I'm because I wouldn't have got to meet you, man, and you've already made a difference in my life. So
I appreciate you. Yeah, I'll try. I just
love your stuff. All that stuff you're telling me, I've kept up with. So I feel you. I know the audience doesn't know, so I want you to tell the stories, but
yeah, I appreciate it. Yep, we know.
We know.
But I'm just, it's some people trying to post help them, wherever they're going through. I'm just a real person. I just want people to see that I might be a mental health counselor, I'm also human, and I go through these things. I go through these things in the wrestling business. I'm still standing. I've had a tough time, but I'm still standing here. I want to help people, That's it.
Yeah, so if somebody's out there and they've had similar problems and maybe they're not sure how to push through, then get in touch with Nick, because I'm sure he'd be more than happy to talk to you. And I try to do it through blogs and through the podcast. I talk about mental health a lot. I think it's one of the most underrated subjects in America.
Absolutely.
Right up there with the other few months we've celebrated spoke on that should be longer than a month.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, why is that? Why do we compartmentalize things and give them a month on things that should be talked about all year round? Is it, or do you think it's a good thing that at least maybe they're getting highlighted for a month? Am I looking at it from the wrong perspective, or?
It can be good, especially like during the beginning, because it's all the attention's at the beginning. Then as the days go by, slowly it starts fading into the background again. And then here goes the next month where it's National Donut Month or something.
Right, yeah.
Who knows?
Facebook has 365 days of holidays now.
Right. So it's a day for everything now. Why not a day for wrestling?
Third cousin twice removed day. It's like, what? I didn't even know I had it. What is that?
Banana cream pie day. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Don't Google that unless you're very specific.
Oh yeah.
Don't come out bad. Come out bad, kids. Come out bad. Make sure you put in the word recipe. Trust.
Right. Won't be a good look for you. You might traumatize.
It happens, yeah.
But I really think that in America, for our culture, is this: we do that compartmentalization to just, okay, hey, we are bringing attention to this, but just for a month, and then we're going to move on quickly.
Can't think about it for too long.
Right. We can't do it too long, and we might offend someone.
Right.
But it's a real thing that needs to be talked about every single month, because every month suicide is still in the top 10 causes of death, which is scary because you're up there like with heart disease, diabetes, all this, and that
with vets 22 a day commit suicide.
Yeah, and it's amazing to me that after everything that's happened in this country alone, that is still in the background.
Yeah.
Even on the news, we talk about a tragedy happening or a mass shooting. Mass shootings are becoming just, okay, whatever. Let's move on.
Well, I mean, the Pentagon recently in U.S. has put out a report admitting to the existence of UFOs, or like they call them now, UAPs. And everybody's like, yeah, okay. Like, are we just that desensitized? Have we been through that much shit, you think, now as America, that just, like, it's like, yeah, okay. Like, the president's now shaking hands with an alien. Okay. What else is on TV? What else is on TV? Like, what? Really? But he just said.
I mean, it's
fascinating, right?
Right. It's like it's gotten weird ever since, I think it seems ever since 9/11, things have taken a turn, and we become, and not to make fun of anyone that has ADHD, but it was just we kind of become like that society where we don't have attention or focus on a thing for more than 5 minutes.
Right.
That's why we have a group of people now who just take whatever headline is gospel without reading the article.
Yeah. Without thinking about who it came from, or it's sad because, and there wasn't really ever since. I mean, that's why marijuana is illegal, because a guy owned a newspaper and got together with a guy named Henry Anslinger to do some propaganda. So I kind of do hate when people go, I hate the good old days of news, when news was just, it's like it was always used as propaganda.
Oh yeah.
So my thing is I wish there was a news program today that simply reported to me facts that happen as they happen, with no editorial edge, just as dry as they can be, because I like information. I like to make decisions like that for myself.
Exactly.
Versus having, but we're such a you got to my perspective, and the way I think is the right way, and everybody doesn't believe that way is a fucking idiot and moron and stuff. So it's weird that it's like that. It's like, why don't you want the truth? It's whether you pick that side or not, whether it's on your side or not, the truth is still the truth. You can't get mad because it came from the other side, from a rich person if you're poor, from a poor person if you're rich,
right?
A person if you're white, or white person if you're black, or a Republican if you're Democrat, or a Democrat if you're Republican. The truth is still the truth, right? It doesn't really define itself by any certain category. It just is.
Right. The truth's the truth. And I think it's kind of gone to that point where people don't want to admit, but you're told and taught, okay, have independent thought, but don't have independent thought.
Right. But the independent thought the way I would think it.
Right.
That's the root of fascism, isn't it? Whether no matter which side it's coming from, is you need to think the way I think, or you need to be punished.
Right. It's like it's a big sign that says obey.
Oh man, they need to. I'm not that into remakes, and if they ever remade They Live, I would probably shoot up the studio. But there needs to be a digitally mastered re-release or back out or something. People need to rewatch that, because when I watched it the first time, it was because Roddy Piper was in it,
right?
That alone, and it was a cool alien movie, and I like the glasses and stuff. But when you're an adult and you watch it, you're like, oh shit, okay,
yep.
Like this,
my eyes open.
Like not only was this beginning to come true then, but some of this shit's just now starting to come true.
Yeah.
Or somewhere between, people refer to George Orwell's 1984 a lot, which I get a lot of references there, but also like if they've seen the movie Idiocracy, like a lot of that seems ripe in today's America.
I tell people too that it's like sometimes I live in a in a huge like ongoing Simpsons episode. It's like I can't believe things are this stupid and people go for it. But
I think the Simpsons have got more right than Nostradamus or the Bible.
yes,
I'm just saying. Might want to go back and watch through some past episodes, see what's going on there. So you do a lot of things in professional wrestling. Out of all those things you do, what would you say is your favorite to do, or is it like babies? Like you just really couldn't, you know what I'm saying?
it's weird. I think, I was kind of thrust into commentary, but I think I kind of am starting to love that more. And plus, it's much easier on the body too. But
Yeah, it is. Look, that's why I tell people are like, "Hey, like podcasting versus wrestling." It's like, well, I can wake up in the morning, I go to work every morning. I don't, I still have aches and pains, but it's not like it takes me 2 or 3 days to walk straight again.
Right.
I don't get punched by anybody, for the most part. So it's definitely a lot better. But he's talking about the calling fights. I recently had a chance to call a pro boxing match.
Oh wow! Nice.
My joke was, as I have a podcast and now I'm calling live fights, I'm like the Wish version of Joe Rogan, who's my hero. So all I really need to do is stand up, and I can be the complete Wish version.
Not the Wish version.
But I really liked doing that. Like it felt like a fit or natural. Like I had no idea what I was doing yet. I felt like I knew exactly what I was doing, which is something different than like when I did MMA or boxing or pro wrestling or even podcasting. I had to find my voice in those things. Like the first time I called a fight, it felt like I put on Cinderella's shoe.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Oh no, I get it. It fits. And when I got thrust into this one night, I was doing a show, and you never know what can happen at a wrestling show. It's like suddenly I was ring announcing, then you're like, "Hey Nick, you're doing commentary." I'm like, what?
Wait, what? Yeah, right.
You want to say I was honest with him. It's like, I've never done it before, but I'm gonna do it and give it the best shot I got.
Right.
And I did it, and you're sitting there, you're thinking, "Oh, that was horrible. That sucked."
Of course, yeah.
And you get to the back and you hear it from them. You're like, "Oh, that was really good." And then when it's released, then you get these tweets back or messages like, "I really enjoy your commentary." Like, well, okay, that means a lot. It works.
I never listened to it back. I do listen to my things back, and I watch my match back because I'm in podcasting, but I hate my voice. I hate my face.
Same. I don't like my.
So I do a podcast. But what was I talking about? I just jumped off the train again. What was I just talking about? Saying Nick, this happens at least once every episode. Commentary, yeah. First of all, shout out to 4611 Boxing Productions and Kevin Kennymore and all those guys, because they're the ones that made that happen for me. So thank you so much. Like I had the time of my life. I know she did too. So I definitely appreciate them and have a lot of gratitude of them. Let me do that. I've not thought yet about calling wrestling, but I definitely have an interest in MMA and pro boxing, so I may go that way too, just to cover all the bases.
Oh yeah,
and at least try. Needed. Yeah,
because a lot of it's been, a lot of wrestlers modifying their style, fitting into the MMA mold. Be able to call the match, the moves properly. That's what's really important, because if you're doing that, then if you already had a background in boxing MMA, then hey,
and I can call them by their real moves, not
exactly
the Shawn Michaels arm flippy thingy, which is what you're called in the bag. Let's do that thing, that flippy thing. It's like, which flippy thingy? He does a lot of flippy thingies. Then my next question is, how many times have you done this move before? Oh, this is my first time. No, I'm good.
Right. No.
Yeah, we're not going to be doing that tonight. What do you want to do, headlock? How you going to work that? Again, let me worry about it. I'm the heel. I got this. Trust me. At the end of your match, they're going to be cheering you like crazy, and they're going to be booing me. That's all you need to know. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
You mentioned about the move, and we had a guy that's called the flapjack spot. It's bad on my part. I should have really grilled him if he knew what a flapjack was.
Oh no,
he didn't know what a flapjack was. He ended up turning into a back body drop, and the person was prepared for it. Luckily, they didn't, go to the hospital, but they were shook up.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there as manager, like, okay, I'm trying not to break kayfabe, but I'm like fanning in my hat and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you need me to go in there, you need me to do something. And it's like crap. Scary moment, but he was good miraculously. I guess he trained his neck. I don't know.
Exact same thing happened to me. Me and one of my tag team partners, I don't remember which one it was talking to these guys in the back. We're like, no, we'll do a flapjack. One of those holds? Yeah. Okay, so we'll do so we even went through it where we picked him up and stuff. So to me, it appeared by everything that he knew how to do this move. Boy, was I fucking wrong. Because we threw him against, we went to go up, and as we was falling back, he was curling his body like he was, like you said, almost like he was either, I don't know if maybe he was trying to take a backflip or what he thought a flapjack was, but yeah, he did the same thing, and luckily turned enough to learn to lean on the land on the upper part of his back and not his neck, but still it looked bad to watch, and I felt bad, and so definitely if you don't know a move, don't be afraid to say you don't know what it is.
Exactly. No one's going to judge you or say anything. It might be some people give you some shit for it, but it is what it is.
There literally is 1,000 holds and moves. Like you can't know them all. I've been in the business off and on 30 years. You know, I've done MMA, pro wrestling. I've been a fan, and I still maybe know 50% if I'm lucky. You know, so it's not nothing to be ashamed of.
But what if someone says they're going to hit you with a Seth Rollins? You know what that is, right?
Yeah, usually days I'm like, Seth Rollins, is that? I feel like he does more than one thing. I feel like if you just like they should be super one-dimensional. Like if you said Stone Cold, it's like I'm gonna do the Stone Cold thing. It's like, oh, so you're gonna kick me, punch me, and then give me a stunner? Or you want me to give you a bad pile driver? Too soon? Sorry.
Jesus.
I apologize, dear Lord, and the pygmies in Africa and New Jersey and wherever they live. So how do you feel? Are you think at some point in time you may just gear totally towards that, or do you still want to keep with the managing other stuff too? Or like if your card got filled up with just calling matches, would you be okay with that too?
I think at this point, because especially like in this era of wrestling, people don't really, and I fought hard against this, not saying I'm giving up, but at the same time, people don't take managers seriously. It's like some of these guys just watch wrestling like just 2012 and beyond. They don't think or know what a manager can do, no matter how many times you show them. So I think for me, like the better fit right now, I'm getting more bookings as commentator too. So it's like, I'll take the commentary.
It's kind of sad to me because some of the things that are kind of disappearing from wrestling today are things that I love so much. Like as a fan or in wrestling, I was always about tag teams.
Oh yeah.
Managers, like they stick in my heart just as much as any of my favorite wrestlers do. Oh, yeah. Even referees. That's somebody. Let me tell you something, guys, that look down on the referees. And there are some shitty referees, just like there's shitty wrestlers.
Oh yeah.
But a good referee is just as fucking essential to that match as you two are. And if you don't believe that, you don't need to be in the business either. You don't get it.
Yeah.
You don't get it yet. He's an integral part of that dance. Such as the audience, which a lot of guys leave out too because they're wrestling for the guys in the back or the girlfriend watching on YouTube live at home or whatever the hell they're doing. Your motivation needs to be the fans. That's the relationship that's set up. They're a part of
who's paying you.
Yeah, that's who's paying you. Things are so expensive nowadays, and the cost of living is so crazy that if somebody, especially the people that come to wrestling, and you know, as a heel, we give them a lot of shit. But as a shoot person, let me tell you, those people are taking their hard-earned money that they might have been able to get steak instead of fucking ramens that week, just so they can come watch you wrestling for you to not put in the effort or try to entertain them instead of yourself or somebody else. Then you got the wrong attitude, to me personally, from my perspective.
Oh no, I agree 100%. I always hate that, and I see that a lot. You know, certain people, they go to the show solely to pop the boys in the back. I'm like, these jackouts aren't paying for anything.
Everybody loves popping the boys in the back, right? Yeah. That should not be that should be down, you know, way down and down top 20, not in your top 5 things that you're trying to do.
Right. Exactly. Think about that crowd out there. They're paying their money. Some people drive like different states to see you. Yes. Think about them, because that's gas, and gas, you never know what's going to happen with that.
Or how much it's going to be from here to there, or
right. You know, let's say if you're in Atlanta, it skyrockets the price. Or if you go to more of a country town like Monroe, Georgia, it's cheaper. But it's just a lot of things that factor in. And just always think about the crowd. They're the ones who are coming to see you. They're the ones who long term are going to buy your merchandise. You know, because the boys in the back, let's just be honest, they want it for free.
And you see how well it works, because now the boys are the back of the crowd. And how well is that working out for you guys? You miss that crowd now, don't you?
Yep.
Like sometimes it's good to have things taken away so we learn to appreciate or have gratitude for those things again. And I think wrestling as a whole is getting more back to entertaining fans again. I think that's why its popularity is rose this time. Instead of trying to figure out ways to market themselves better, they're actually trying to reach into the fans' minds and see what they want to see from their perspective, and not just what the guys on the roster want to do. Because that's what it's about. You're there to do a job. People don't understand that. They talk about creative or this or that or your character and stuff. You do your character out there. They tell you what story your character is going to fit into.
Right. Absolutely.
So be on board with that, because the better you help that story get told, the more people are going to gain an emotional connection with you one way or another, whether they hate you or love you. And then they start following you from city to city and buying your merch.
Yeah. I had someone like, they enjoyed the fact that I pissed them off a lot.
Yeah.
They literally came to this show. I pissed them off in Georgia. They came to Tennessee. Then they came to see a show. I was in North Carolina. So as a dedicated fan, they say, I hate you so much. I'm buying your shirt on Pro Wrestling. I always tell us, look, I don't want to deal with you all and stuff in person. I'm not selling any shirts. You got to go to Pro Wrestling Tees.
Right. Old school heel. I love that.
So I do that kind of thing, and they do it. So I'm like, hey.
They appreciate that. I think they see the heart and the effort you put in and where it's coming from. And as it's a thin line between love and hate. That's why, faces always made such great heels, and heels always made such great faces when they were at that level.
Yeah.
That, and they used to be part of a storyline where the turn meant something. It wasn't just, try to get a little bit higher rating in the second quarter of this show. Like it meant something. Like, back in the day when you're a kid, your favorite guy turns, I remember when the Road Warriors put the Spock in Dusty Rhodes' eyes. I cried my eyes out. I couldn't understand it. I was baffled. When Baby Doll left Dusty Rhodes for Tully Blanchard, I was like, what the fuck is she doing?
Right. So how's this happening? And I told Nikita Koloff, I saw him at a show a few years back and stuff. I said, it's so good to meet you. I'm still mad at you for what you did to Sting.
Yeah, that's do things like that. Do things that are memorable like that, but still in a good way.
Oh yeah.
There's people, I just don't think they understand how to be heels or the psychology of being a heel or what it means, because everybody wants to be quote unquote a tweener or a cool heel. Yeah. They don't understand the whole fucking purpose for him is to be simply the antagonist.
Exactly.
The face from point A to point B in the story.
Right.
It's good versus evil. That's the classic play, the Shakespearean experience, the man soap opera, whatever you want to call it.
And they lose sight of that. And
they do.
Even little touches that are old school but still work. Like if I'm not selling shirts at the show is one thing, but also just after show, I'm not hanging out with fans and high five and say, hey, you like the show? I don't care what they liked.
Right. Yeah. You're not supposed to. You did your job.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted to hate you or hate that aspect of the show. You didn't want them to enjoy themselves. Not that you didn't want them to have a good time, but you wanted them to be aggravated when they leave. Exactly. You want to be thinking about it when they go to bed at night. That motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
And
in the end of the day too, like I get sometimes I get a message from a fan where I remember one a while back. They said they're going through like a most shitty time there is, divorce, everything. They felt like just dying, but going there and booing and hating me, go figure, got them out of their funk.
You gave them a way to vent. You gave them something to project their hate onto besides themselves, because a lot of people take fault in everything they do, not just the stuff that technically is their fault.
Right. They internalize like anything that happens, and this is me. I did it. This is my fault.
You cheated. It's definitely your fault.
Oh yeah.
I saw you hand him that damn chain. I saw him hand the chain back to you.
I was trying to help him and stuff. His hand was cold. The chain kind of helped him a little bit,
Look, that kind of old school storytelling still gets me, and I've been in the business about 30 years.
Yeah, see?
Like, I still get mad, and I've done that spot a billion times, but I still get mad when I say it. I want to yell at that damn referee and go, would you pay attention to what the fuck's going on? But I still love it. It's still easy for me to suspend my disbelief, I guess. It may be harder for some people because, kayfabe's kind of dead, but if you truly understand what a worker is, if you truly get the business and you truly understand kayfabe, then it's not. Right.
Right. And I got to the point now, like, I can work the boys just as easy as the fans because I just stayed at heel. Like last night when they did they had to stall for time because the camera messed up. We were doing a tape for Fight TV, and just ad lib everything because I'm the heel commentator. So I have my little baby face guy. We kind of have a Bobby the Brain, Gorilla Monsoon dynamic, and I'm giving him all this crap. I'm talking about the crowd and just those kind of things is just so much fun to do. Everyone hated me. They wanted the other commentator, Vincent, only like to hit me with a chair. And I said, no, you can't do that and stuff. And the other guy in the crowd, why not? And so I said, it's against the law because I don't have a wrestler's contract. So, just all those things. And I encourage other guys to take advantage of things like that. Do it, just have fun.
Yeah. Yeah, the worst that happens, you fail, and you don't really fail because then you learn something and you learn what not to do. And sometimes that can be more important than knowing what to do in wrestling because, those not to do is what's ruined the to do's, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's just one of those, the lessons you learn along the way. And I tell people, I said, just take those lessons as blessings and, learn. Make sure you learn from it and go from there. Don't dwell. The only thing I worried about last night was because I got so much crowd heat. I was thinking about the promoter. I'm like, I hope he doesn't think I'm going to business for myself because I'm really not. I'm just trying to stall.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's good. That's also the reason people are like steady up in every word you write on Facebook going, what's going on here? See, you've blurred that line. You've kayfabed even, not only the fans, but some of the boys.
And even some of the guys said, was that real? You really were mad at? I'm like, no, it wasn't.
It's like sarcasm. I'm very sarcastic, and sometimes people don't really know how to take me because they don't know if I'm being serious. Because a lot of times I'll put really dry, sarcastic things on Facebook, and sometimes I'll LOL if I think you deserve one or you're a little slow, or sometimes I need to give some happy, frowny, whatever faces to get the point across. But most times I don't. I just leave it for you to figure out. And I think that's the best part of a really good heel is they just leave it for you to figure out. Like, you're not going to. That's the point. Is everybody's got their own type of magic. You just need to learn to perform it in front of people, right?
Absolutely. And I think, not to toot my own horn, but I really worked hard on just keeping kayfabe even on social media, where I'm working fans and sometimes working the boys as well because they're a little more gullible than fans sometimes. So
I remember I appreciated them doing that even when I first started training. They kind of kept kayfabe until you hit a certain point, which I thought, every person going into it thinks they know everything anyway,
right?
Until they get there and realize what they don't know.
Yep.
And then there's that question of, oh my God, I know this isn't real, but they seem to really hate each other. What's going on here? What's the drama? And you're getting worked, and it's beautiful.
Yep.
A lot of people get offended. A lot of guys, especially workers, will get offended by getting worked. I don't. I love it. If you can still work me after kids, grandkids, a crazy ex-wife, and all the shit I've been through, more fucking power to you. Like, you win. Like I appreciate that. It's like a good cut down or a good burn or roast. I appreciate that too. If it's really fucking funny, it's really fucking funny. I don't get offended. I just appreciate it.
Exactly. And even when the angle is over, I'll get to that point where I'm still not gonna wish them a happy birthday on Facebook. I messaged them, but I'm not gonna do all that stuff because I still we're not in anything right now, but I still don't like you.
Yeah.
So it's just those little things I think make a difference, and it gets people who aren't like those hardcore fans or casual. They're like, okay, I want to see this. This guy needs his ass kicked.
Yeah.
So it's still, and I tell guys this all the time, it still works. It's just all in how you work it.
It's all in how you work it. You got different buttons you need to push for different situations.
Yeah.
You have one. You're on a podcast right now. It's when you're in the back, when you're in front of a live crowd, and then when you're on social media. Those are all different, without lack of a better term, buttons that you need to push for those situations. And fit yourself into the situations, your character into those situations, because again, it is partly who you are, right?
Yeah.
So you need to be able to work yourself into those situations, even with the volume turned down. You still need to be able to work.
Absolutely.
Guys just don't know how to work at all anymore. They don't know what a worker is.
And that's the thing. They think they go to training is
moves. But
Yes.
it's
Coolest
not.
move. Coolest move wins.
Yep, coolest move wins. And what they don't think about, or some trainers aren't training them, is because they're thinking about the cash grab. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Is when and why do you use the move, or should I use it?
Right.
It's just
in this context of this thing, like I'm never going to see this guy again. Is it building towards something, or is it we have a 3, 4, 5, 6, 12-week thing going on? Or are we just going to this week and next week? Yeah, it's so important to know the context of the situation, like you said, or the crowd or where you're at. And that's in any kind of creative endeavor, whether you're a stand-up comic or a musician. You got to know your crowd, right?
Oh, absolutely. An example of that, a Happy Ass Show, Tennessee. She's two people, I'm not gonna mention names, but two people, they just act like they are the shit because they did AEW Dark. That's great, but where's your contract? Because you're in the locker room with all the rest of us waiting on the same envelopes. But
what's that saying? Don't forget the when you're walking up, don't because the same asses you kiss on the way back down.
You see them all over again. And they came there. They didn't study the crowd at all. They did their Britney Spears choreographed match that they practiced for about 2.5 hours. I was like, this is insane. Jim Cornette would have a heart attack. He saw this, but
for those of you that like to bring up Macho Man or Macho Man Ricky Steamboat, you are not Macho Man and Ricky Steamboat. I'm sorry.
Right.
So when you are them, then you do it any way you want to. But until then, what is it? Al Snow said recently. He says the crowd doesn't have a script for your match, and honestly, you shouldn't either.
Yeah, it's very true because they didn't work that crowd at all. They did their match. They didn't try to change it up. Nothing in that crowd. They did all the flips in the world, Canadian Destroyers, and all the indie-rific spots. But
right,
crowd sat in their hands because for that audience, they don't mind someone stomping their foot and punching.
Yeah.
You go with the crowd. You go with the flow. You can do a few high-flying spots here and there, but work toward them. And that crowd sat in their hands at all of that. And I was like, wow. Well.
Yeah, it is what it is. Like that's how you learn, though. You listen to that crowd, and when they're quiet, you don't blame it on the crowd. That's your fault.
Well, these two people aren't gonna be that way. They blame it on the crowd.
Of course, yeah. It's just a bad crowd. How's the crowd? Is the crowd hot? Like, here's an idea. Why don't you make the crowd hot?
Right.
Isn't that what you're paid to do?
The funny thing is, the crowd was hot the entire night. When their match came, dead. Then after they left, crowd hot again.
That is hilarious. That's karma working its way. Well, I know you got that one event, but there's some other events you have coming up too. Go ahead and talk about those a little bit. What else do you have coming up, and what will you be doing at those shows?
On June 19th in Asheville, North Carolina, Urban Combat Wrestling, awesome promotion. Check them out on YouTube. They have a Juneteenth celebration show called Freedom Ain't Free Part 2. Absolutely free admission. It's going to be outdoors. Oh, yeah, free. Magic word.
Even I can afford free. Come on, y'all can afford free too. Quit playing. You selling them food stamps anyway. Just take some of that damn money.
Exactly.
Go to this show.
Exactly. Just do the show. Come on. But it's an amazing show. Great time. You're gonna see Moot the BTSG. You're gonna see Spaceman. You're gonna see the White Claw Outlaws. White Claw Outlaws. Yes.
I've heard that name before, and I gotta admit, that's over as hell with me, and I'll pop like a motherfucker. Like that is. That is one of the best damn things I've ever heard in my life. I love that gimmick.
Check them out on Facebook, their page. Yeah. They're awesome. Two great individuals. No big ego on them at all, but they make the crowd.
I hate them already. Are they heels, by the way? Am I supposed to be hating them?
Oh, you're going to hate them.
Okay. Well, I already do, so that's a good thing. I was a little worried. I was like, here I am, but I'm a heel, so maybe I would hate faces anyway. Really, I hate every fucking body. Okay, so.
That's kind of become me over the years, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what makes you want to be a heel. It's like, because that's what I am in real life. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be doing color commentary. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be filmed. I believe it might be up on YouTube right now. They got some great content on their YouTube page as well. Everyone to go subscribe, follow them. That's absolutely free, so please do that.
Do you have a YouTube by any chance? Because I'd really like to go find some of your stuff where you commentated and listen to you that way. Is there anything up there right now or no?
Just my highlight video right now.
Yeah, a commentator actually had a highlight video made. Go figure.
That's awesome.
I have that on there. It's Scenic Lounge on YouTube. Just check it out.
Okay.
I'm gonna start uploading some promos there too.
Mm-hmm.
So all your classic ones you hate, like the ones where I call out Duke the Dumpster Drozy and called him Caucasian Virgil, all those different things. You know, you can
I
check
saw
those
some of
out.
those pictures. I appreciated those. Those were some good pics.
I appreciate that was
You really
a
should
fun
treat
piece.
trash the way they deserve to be treated. I didn't think you were doing anything wrong in those situations.
Right. I was innocent, you know,
Yeah.
and then he always says that I had 40 people beat him up in order for me to get a pin on him. Well, I mean, it was no DQ,
So he's mad what? Because he didn't think of that.
right. I
Guys
mean,
like
all
that
those
are
years
always doing
experience.
things like that. They're so jealous of us. They're so jealous of
Right.
your success. They're so jealous that they always lose and you always win. That they've always got an excuse.
Exactly. I mean,
You
I
got to
just
get used to that kind of thing from people like Drosy.
and I gave him something that he's familiar with. I future endeavored him just like Vincent Mann did in '96.
Right.
That's all I did.
As I'm sure he deserved because, again, he's trash. Why else would you have that gimmick, right?
Exactly. Trash man. I'm
When
like,
we just talk about it's who you are and you just turn up the volume. So he's trash and he just turned up the trash close enough, right?
and I'm the only product sponsor man in wrestling, so I don't like trash. So I had
Yeah,
to take
I
it
don't
out.
blame you. Yeah.
You know, it's
You
gross.
seem like you're more of a clean, healthy type of, above board type of guy. So
Exactly. Look at the, look at the Kango. It's official,
yeah.
But then, in addition to that show, I have July 10th, Athens, Georgia, Southern Violence and Wrestling. It's going to be an awesome show. You have the SVW heavyweight champion, Charlie Anarchy, who, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated wrestlers.
That was another question I have of guys you've worked with. Who's underrated right now and who you need to really look out for? What is his name again?
Plenty. Charlie Anarchy,
Okay.
Brandon Watley.
Okay.
Serpent Assassin, Brandon Watley. Shane Mako, a guy who one of my last clients I managed. Phenomenal human being, gets the business, works hard, and he is the Black Diamond Pro Heavyweight Champion, who will defend that at the first ever Black Diamond Pro Wrestling event, co-branded with Warrior Pro. Okay. It's going to be July 30th and July 31st, Rocky Top, Tennessee, at the Rocky Top Community Center. Tickets on sale now on Eventbrite.com. Veterans tickets at the door, 40% off for veterans.
Wow,
because we love troops and we love all who served. And it's going to be a great night. We're going to have that first night, Friday. I have Damian Wayne, veteran, another person who's underrated. Yep, Damian.
Oh yeah, he's good. He's really good.
And he's going to be facing a guy I mentioned a minute ago, Charlie Anarchy, the current SVW heavyweight champion. So it's going to be
veteran versus the new kid in town, and
hard hitting. You're going to see
experience.
Strikes. Nothing's going to be fake about this. I'm just going to put that out there and say it. That's going to be real hard hitting. It's going to be a great match. Lamar Diggs and Mook BTSG, both underrated. They're going to be there. They're going to have a match. Little man, big man, classic battle, David Goliath. You're going to see that Mook had the victory in the Black Diamond Invitational on him back in November.
Okay.
And I think Diggs is pissed off from that. So we're going to see what happens.
Take care of the business.
And then you're going to have you got Larry D there in the Warrior Pro side. Okay. Impact star Larry D, I might add. List goes on and on. On July 31st, it's going to be my champion, the Black Diamond Pro heavyweight champion, Shane Mako, defending against Kyle Hawk or forgot the other guy's name. I can't think of it right now because I'm getting old. But whoever wins,
they're hitting the head a lot.
Yes. I fell on mine a lot.
I was dropped on my head too, so that didn't help.
The winner of the match between Kyle Hawk and his opponent on July 30th. Whoever wins that match is going to face Shane Mako for the Black Diamond Pro Heavyweight Champion. Oh. It's actually going to be title versus title, 30-minute Iron Man match. So that's going to headline the show on July 31st. So it's going to be a night of 2 great nights, great wrestling. I'm currently seeking sponsors. So anyone wants a sponsor, hey, please jump on board. You can use your help. Podcasts, vendors, whatever, food places, because I love to eat. I'm Hot Boy Summer Ready.
You familiar with the guys from the movement?
Oh yeah, Chip Hazard, Talon. Oh yeah, I love
that'd be a good one to do. I'd hit them up. They have a great podcast as well. Chip's been kind of my mentor in podcasting and helped me out a lot. I've been friends with Chip and Talon for about years, and since before I had back when I had to shave my hair to make it go bald.
I always pick on them because, they don't have a Nintendo Switch like me. They don't have a PS5 or Xbox Series X like me. So,
yeah,
it's just not on my level.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. They're like an unpolished diamond, or maybe it's an unpolished turd. One of those things. But seriously, guys, love you, man. Shout out to guys at Movement Radio and another great podcast. Like mine, a lot of variety. I like podcasts with a lot of variety, and they have a lot of variety.
Oh yeah,
I'm talking about
awesome.
A lot of different things.
I hope right now I don't know. I have James Johnson and Selena Rose booked for July 30th, but I don't know the status of James Johnson. I believe he had an injury, collarbone injury.
Oh,
that was great.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
oh God, yeah.
I'm praying for him. Hope for a speedy recovery. I'll know the status. I'm making an announcement on the Black Diamond Pro page sometime this week. And more matches will be revealed. That first exclusive match that you heard here, Charlie Anarchy versus Damian Wayne, hard-hitting main event for July 30th. And then on July 31st, main event will be.
Don't forget about Low Key.
Oh,
I can't even get that low, man. I tried. I can't. I thought that was the reason his name. I remember the first time, for some reason, he didn't sound like that to me on TV. And the first time I heard him in the back going over a thing, I thought, I swear he dropped it an extra 8 octaves, and there's only 8 octaves to begin with. When he started talking, have you ever personally heard somebody that talks that low in the business?
Never. It's in his voice, and like that ass is
10 feet tall. He's not 10 feet tall, but he's 10 feet tall.
Oh, you think he was that voice?
Intimidating as any bigger wrestler. I would rather face a lot of bigger wrestlers I've faced than Low Key.
Absolutely. It's like that man's scary. And hey, Ricky Martinez, you asked for this match. I mean, you
asked for it. Be careful what you asked for, right?
Yep. June 12th, Miami, Florida. Revo Soccer. It's going to be a great, great match. I want you all to see that. June 12th, I'll be the host. And like I said before, you never know what I'm going to say with a live mic in my hand. Just don't be gross and stupid. There we go.
Yeah, there you go. Is there anything else coming up besides those things, or anything before we get off here that places they can find you? Do you have Twitter? Of course, I know that, but I'm going to ask you. Do you have Twitter? Facebook? What all things? Are you on TikTok? I don't even know what the latest stuff is called.
Well,
I'm trying, and I just had somebody like, "Are you on TikTok yet?" And I'm like, "I got to do another one. I got 3 Facebooks: a Pro Wrestling Facebook, a Jerry Leonard Facebook, which I'm never on, and then the Chronic Conversations Facebook." Right. So how do you keep up? What all is your social media, and how the hell do you keep up, sir?
It's hard. I have the On the Scene podcast one where I talk about mental health. I interview people who may be, unsung, so to speak.
Say the name of that one more time so people can hear it.
On the Scene podcast.
Okay, and where can they find that at? Because I think
on Facebook, and the episodes will be on Spotify, on Apple, just your favorite streaming, streaming podcast.
Yeah. Anywhere podcasts are found, will probably be on there, right?
So just check that out.
I'm glad to find out about that. So if I hadn't had John here, I might not have found out. So definitely thank you for sharing that with us, because I'll definitely be checking it out.
And I give. It's kind of like my Facebook post. I give my perspective on things I've been through, whether they are, tragic or, some BS stuff that happened to me. I just, use it to uplift people, because what I've been through, I know someone else has been through. And I just want people to know that, hey, you're still standing. There's still opportunity. There's something else.
There's another side to this. It's temporary. The sad thing is all good things are temporary, but guess what? The happy thing is, the paradox of that is that all bad things are temporary too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another one of those old people sayings, this too shall pass. It's very cliche, but it's also very true. It will pass. It may feel like forever, but eventually if it doesn't go away, you will learn how to deal with it. We'll put it like that, because some things don't go away.
Absolutely. And, check me out on that. Check me out on Black Diamond Pro page. There are going to be some great announcements coming up with this co-branded show with Warrior Pro. This is our debut event. Couldn't ask for a better partnership. It's friendly competition. Who's going to have the best, matches on the card? Because I have Black Diamond Pro matches on July 30th and 31st. Warrior Pro has it 30th, 31st. Who's going to have the better card?
Right.
I say me because I got some heavy hitters coming. Just saying.
Yeah, and then the end of that, the culmination of that is going to be the title versus title, correct?
Yep.
So
on July 30th, 31st.
That's where it's. I mean, that's how it's going to be decided once and for all. So go check out one of those shows, and then make it to the finale, basically the main event of main events. Because anytime you can get two egos of promotions to step aside and put together a show like that is an amazing thing. And it may or may, like you said, just that in itself may never, ever happen again. So you definitely want to try to check that kind of thing out. I mean, I know it seems to be the soup du jour when it comes to Impact and AEW, but then again, that could all go away because we've seen like with WWE that, pretends other people don't exist. And
that never happened. Like, Sting went missing for all those years.
Yeah. It's like, you look different.
They're good old revisionist history. I like how that Invisible Guy slammed Andre the Giant back in '87.
Yeah, right. Just a race that doesn't even exist. Just a race for the history books.
But it's honestly a dream come true to have help run my own show.
Congratulations!
I have experience in the area. Oh, thank you. I have experience in the area, but this is going to be a whole different undertaking of me actually doing even more, the promoting aspect, everything. So I'm also going to be ring announcing and doing commentary and aging. So, yeah.
Well, you're going to be tired. So just take care of yourself, sir, and make sure you get some rest. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I'll tell you the same thing that I tell a lot of other guys, and I'd really love to have you on again to maybe just gear it totally towards mental health, especially since you have that podcast. We'll talk about that podcast some more and mental health, both in wrestling and outside of wrestling, if you'd love to join me again sometime. Thank you so much for being here. I'll tell you, like I tell all my guests, time is the most precious gift you can give somebody, so I appreciate you taking time out of your night to give me that gift of your time, and I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for having me on. It means the world to me. You got me in, and I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I try to really. There's people. It's sort of like when it goes for sponsorships. I'm not trying to. I love to make a living out of this, but that's not my goal. It's to provide the same thing I did professional wrestling, some entertainment, and maybe a little bit of an escape. So if you hear me talking about a product, it's because I use that product and I really believe in it. If you see somebody on my show, it's because I believe in them and their product. So know that Chronic Conversations, myself and staff aren't just having him on here as a guest. We are having on here as a friend and somebody that we believe in and want to help people see him because he deserves to be seen. So y'all go check him out, check out his wrestling, check him out on Facebook, all his other things, and catch him here next time. And until then, we'll say bye. You want to say bye, baby?
Peace.
And we'll see you next time. Hang out with me just a second. When I take the broadcast, will still be on, and I'll holler at you for a minute, man. Thanks so much for being on. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much.